Welcome to Two Kims,
One Pod.
I'm Peter Kim.
And this is Angie Kim.
No relations. Wait, what happened?
We'll figure it out one day, folks.
Okay. Well, we're not related is the problem.
Yeah.
Hey folks, I just made a little announcement about my development process that I've been talking about on this pod. It's long story short, it's a pass, and yeah, it's been I don't want to start the pod out with a shitty thing, but last episode we were waiting on pins and needles, and now we got the answer. It's a pass. If you want the details, go to the Patreon. I go into the details of what happened, what they're saying, what I said, and how I reacted. But beyond that, I just want to thank everyone for your support, and I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you, Angie, for seeing me through these times. Like you've been there since like the beginning of the process, and now it's at the end. So like, yeah. But thank you, everyone. I'm okay. I'm getting over it. I'm working through it. So
showbiz is a bitch, baby.
It's a fucking bitch, and it
really is.
It's business. It's fucking business, and I get it. Anyway, something that happened this week is I can't believe this, but my partner had COVID. And we've been quarantining. I mean, we've been isolating, and I have not gotten it.
Crazy.
And I have been testing negative, right? So I went over to a friend's house, and they just came back from New York, so we're all like getting back together and like, oh, let's hang out, catch up, and we're like all potheads, so we're smoking weed and we're passing around like 4 joints in a circle.
Sure.
Okay,
LA. You guys are doing that.
Yeah, exactly. No one's drinking alcohol. Everyone's going to sleep by 8:30.
If there are 4 joints, why wouldn't you guys just all had one joint? Why are you passing them around?
Because that's the nice thing about smoking joints is communal. And not every joint is the same. Some of them's indica, some of them's sativa. One of them tastes like a wild berry. The other one's a tiramisu.
It's like California nonsense. All right, cool.
Yeah, I mean, don't hate us for our terpenes. But anyway, so we have nice weed, and we were passing it around. And 2 days later, that friend texts all of us, 8 of us, and says, "Sorry, I just woke up and I have COVID." And yeah, and other people were like, fuck, and they tested and they got positive. And so like that was like a spreader event. And I still am not. I was sitting right next to him, sucking on his joint, like out of his lips pretty much. Like, what's happening? I'm knock on wood, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining, but I'm just a little weirded out. Like, wow. I've never had COVID.
Yes.
I'm the only one out of my friends. You need to open my ass up and see what's inside, because I don't know what the fuck is happening. Maybe I'm asympto and I've just gotten it 100 times. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That could be, because like, how do you know if you're not like testing every single day that you have COVID if you don't show any symptoms? So I must be the asymptomatic portion of the population, because I can't imagine statistically that I haven't been infected with COVID.
It's really wild. So everyone else at that party tested positive.
Not everyone, because some people had just had COVID, so they had the immunity and blah, blah, blah. So like everyone has like different immunity stuff. So not everyone tested positive, but those people who a couple of people tested positive. And by the way, these are people who had it like 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah. So that leads me to think, are some people more susceptible to being infected by COVID or other, viral diseases than others? I also do eat a lot of kimchi and smoke a lot of weed.
Peter.
So those 2 things.
Yes.
I'm a pothead that loves fermented cabbage. Like, come on, is that something? Yeah.
I mean, okay, so Peter, you know what's crazy is that I also was at a show that someone tested positive. I was literally
like a comic or audience member?
I was sitting next to them. talking, literally laughing into each other's
mask
mouths.
on, mask off.
Of course, I mask off. What are you talking about?
Mask off.
Yeah,
You're
mask
in the
off.
back.
I'm not on Fox.
Oh
I'm not
God.
masking. And so, like,
no one knows that joke because it's a callback to the Patreon. She's talking about the Masked Singer. Anyway.
you gotta subscribe to the Patreon, folks.
Yeah, it's for the niche 29 people who listen to both.
But I was like literally seated next to this person, very intimately talking because we were sharing secrets. So, you know, when you share secrets,
You got to be close.
you got to be close.
Yeah.
So they tested positive. I didn't get it. I was on set on Tuesday for a Lotto commercial. Mm-hmm. On set, I was like, I feel like there's COVID here. I could feel it in the air.
You could smell it.
I could smell it.
There was like a waft of like corn chips.
Yes. It was like, oh, okay, these Fritos, someone's got Fritos.
Yeah.
So, but I sensed it. I started sort of like freaking out about it and started masking midway through the set, through the shoot day. Got an email from them 2 days later. Someone
COVID
was
exposure.
COVID exposure. I'm 4 days out now. Knock on
You're
wood.
good? Oh, wow.
I'm
4
fine.
days, it's about, you should be feeling something within
By
like
now.
3 to 5 days.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Crazy.
When did you last have COVID?
Last year at December.
Okay. So I don't think that immunity will last
and
this long.
I did get a booster in October.
Boosters don't matter. Boosters don't even matter. I mean, trust me, like me and all my friends, we're like double boosted, vaxxed up the ass, like release something and we're in line taking it.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? So
exactly.
like we're like up to our fucking eyeballs in boosters, but I don't get it. Some of us are dropping like flies every single chance that they can get COVID.
Yes.
And there are people like you and me. You know what?
I've gotten it. But I mean, it's like, do you think this is
you've got-
kimchi?
I think it's either kimchi, weed, the combination of kimchi and weed, or just my like stank personality. Because evil's hard to kill. I think that novel COVID virus comes into my body and they're like, hell no. There's way worse shit in here.
We gotta go.
Did you see his small intestines? God damn.
I mean, I really don't know. I like looked it up and like
know.
the chances of us not getting it at this point, especially considering the level of exposure we've received in both of these situations, is pretty small.
Nil, right? Like
it's like around 10 to 15% that we wouldn't have gotten it.
Oh, okay. That's higher than I thought. I thought
Yeah.
the variants were like super, like it'll go through double masks, and it doesn't even matter if you're 6 feet away. You could be 100 feet away and it'll still like travel.
No.
Okay.
I mean, like
All right.
the mask alone will keep you pretty safe. Distance will keep you pretty safe.
Yeah, the distance and the masking, I think, has really helped me. And I don't know. I guess like I'd be willing to go through some kind of clinical trial if they pay me.
Science?
That'd
I'm
be
available.
cool.
Yeah.
If oh my God, I'm the onset of the mutant X gene. Ooh.
Okay, watch. We've just spoken this. We said this on this pod. Both of us will get COVID next week.
No, stop. No, I can't. I waited too long. I've gone too long.
Wait,
oh my God.
is your partner okay now? Have they started to test negative? Or?
Fully, no, but he's fully been okay since day 2.
Okay,
but
wow.
But it's day 11 and he's still testing positive.
Wow.
So it's just like I don't understand. And CDC is very vague about like what that means. Mm-hmm. Apparently, you could test positive for like a whole month, but like you're not sick. You know what I mean? Or like contagious. So like,
but they don't know.
They don't know that. Mm-hmm. So I've just kind of been like, okay, well, it's been 10 days. I've been sleeping on the couch. Like, I can't do this anymore. You don't seem sick.
Yeah.
You tested and you are positive, but like the line is like very faint.
Yeah.
It was like a very faint line on the test. So like,
yes.
Whatever. It's a calculated mistake. I'm sitting here fucking sharing 4,000 joints with a bunch of sick bitches anyway. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm fine. Anyway, so it has been. I'm grateful that I have gotten it, but damn, it's everywhere again. It seems like it's just like flu. It's just gonna like pop up again. People have it right around January again. Like everyone's getting sick. Everyone's like, it's colder out. Blah blah blah.
It has been pretty intense. Like I think at my son's school, I'm getting an email once or twice a day of exposure.
About exposure. And what are you supposed to do about that? You pull your kid out? You pull your kid out, or like what? Are they wearing masks in the classes?
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, what's crazy is that none of the protocol has improved. No system has
Nothing's becoming defined better. It's gotten more and more like opaque.
Yes. And like much more like no one. It's all at the person's discretion. Everyone's making their choices about calculated risk. Like it's left it up to our own devices, and all of our devices are bad. Like I mean, we don't know. I truly, it is a matter of becoming immune. The only thing we've become immune to is the risk.
And facts.
Yeah.
And science. Like truly, I went to the CDC website and all it is an emoji of a shrug. Yeah. That's all it is. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this?
The only thing improvement they made to the website is that now it's a GIF. It goes like, like truly, like that's the only.
What are we gonna do?
It's really wild because every time there is an exposure, I like when this last round of exposure started coming in, because I would say since Omicron, and it feels like it's actually higher, like much more prevalent than during the kind of the height of Omicron. Like the level of emails that I'm getting and how many people we know are getting it again. Because I think Delta was so swift, and then Omicron was like, and it was Delta and Omicron were still close enough to the beginning of the pandemic where people
had the immunity to fend off one of them,
or there was like so much more conversation around COVID. People were still aware and like taking precautions. I would say now at that time, people were still like half mask on, half off. Like some spaces, it was still closer to like most people were wearing masks. I have not gone to enter any spaces where there's, I would say it's 90% people maskless, 10% people masked. Now, most common.
Yeah. Like, wait, you're saying most people are unmasked?
Yes, at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Even in LA.
And this wave feels
no. I would say it's like 40%, 30 to 40% masked. LA is still very like. I hate that it's like woke to have a mask, but whatever. Like I'm still anytime I'm going inside somewhere with people I don't know, I'm wearing a mask.
Okay.
Because I don't know what the fuck you're bringing.
Exactly. That's very much in Chicago. Nobody cares.
Sure.
Everybody is going in maskless.
Chicago's like, it's been winter for 6 months. Kill me.
They're like okay.
A mask? I don't give a fuck. I want to die.
They're just all going in. No one is giving a fuck. Truly, no one. And
I have cirrhosis of the liver. Like I'm barely living. Let's go.
I had Malort last night. I'm planning on Malort again. Like
I'm full of cheese. Like I'm ready to die.
I'm living my life before I die. And so I think that it's a little bizarre that like as the further we get from it, I don't think the risk is any smaller or like nothing has really changed. People have just become more accustomed to the idea that they're going to get it.
And that's the thing. It's like we're not like hogging up hospital beds anymore. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? So that was like the big thing is like the people who got it bad were dying.
Yes.
Less people are dying from it now. People are still dying, but like not like, the OG.
No.
Now it's like, I got COVID. I'm going to, be in my room for a couple of days and I'm good. And CDC says like, if your symptoms are getting better, you could not isolate by day 5.
Yes.
Day 5.
Yes.
Remember when this first came out? It was like day 64 or whatever. Like they were like, you got to finish your whole semester in your room. Like it was so like crazy. And now it's just like, whatever. Like, see if you feel good.
Yeah.
Like it's what?
Text me when you feel good. LMK when you feel better. I mean, it is. This was the future foreseen like at the beginning, at the outset, like by Delta, we were kind of like, this is simply not going to go away. I just think it's funny that the conversation around this hasn't mimicked when we talk about the flu, which is just as deadly. It's just like another flu, but we've only changed because the conversation was so intense around COVID. People mask around COVID, but we should probably mask because of the flu as well. Like RSV was crazy. Sure. Like so many of my friends' children went into the hospital. It was like a very dangerous time this past winter. I mean, like it's just very funny how selective our brain chooses to be about information and risk.
We're so adaptive.
Yes.
Oh my God. That's how we survive. We're the cockroaches of Mother Earth.
Truly, it is like, it's just something I was realizing like on set and like kind of around COVID. Because there's also, you know, with this shoot, there were so many people there on set that I would say on set was the first time I'd seen, it was 50-50. People that were masked, not masked. And these are people that really went through it during COVID.
The crew was masked though, right?
Yes.
Okay, the crew has to be masked.
Yes.
Like talent, you're talking or whatever, showing your face or whatever. So like, I get it. But like everyone else who's not in front of camera should be masked.
I would say that it was like 70-30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's Chicago, baby.
That's Chicago for you. Lawlessness.
It's Chicago, baby. Everyone's hail hearty and they're like, whatever, you know, what are we going to do? I mean, I will say there is like, what was funny about the shoot was most of the people were actually imported from New York.
What?
It's because I was talking about this.
For a lottery shoot for Illinois?
Very bizarre, right? And I think
that's so odd.
I think there is something inherent to the Chicago psyche that is like very a sense of inferiority
to New Yorkers,
to LA, to like
to the coastal elites.
The coastal elites.
Yeah.
So we're just like very like, well, if it's from New York, it must be better. If it's from LA, it must be better.
It's like that. It's like when you get like some like a piece of clothing made in Italy.
Yes.
You're like, oh, this is good stuff.
Exactly. Like no one is bad at their job in Italy.
Italy. Yeah, exactly. There's no sweatshops in Italy.
Exactly. Like, what are you talking about? Like Italians are notoriously, you know, like not good at stuff, including fascism. And like, you know, like it's like, you know, I mean, it's like there are all these
or being above the law.
I mean, like even Italians that like in culture, there's like so many stereotypes about them, but that for some reason doesn't translate to when we talk about their goods or like the fanciness of things.
Luxury goods. I know the branding is tight. It's hot. It's Italy and France have really good branding.
And I don't understand it. I've been to France. I've been to Italy. These people are not any better at their job. Like
the people aren't better, but the places and the culture is better.
It really is beautiful.
It's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful, and the way they like don't care about work.
You know what I mean? We're talking about how good their goods are. We're talking about we're like notoriously famous for like
so
not liking to work. We're like, oh, then they must really care when they do work.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And a happy worker creates happier products. You know what I mean? Every time I lift my iPhone, I'm like, oh, a child cried into this.
No, the tears cement the pieces together better.
It's the glue that keeps the things together. That's why my iPhone 14 is so heavy, because it's filled with children's tears.
And it's going to last for at least a year.
Yeah, thank God. It's going to support me throughout 2023. Anyway, so you were saying Chicago feels like New Yorkers are better.
Yeah, and so that's why, like, because the people that pitch, it's the Illinois Lotto. So the people that pitch is a Illinois ad agency, but they hired, the production crew, all of them are from New York. You know what I mean? Like they thought
that's so crazy
because
Chicago doesn't have like a good crew system. Like I don't understand. You guys make all the like Chicago stuff, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med.
And the thing is, in LA, I know that people, when crew gets hired, they love when you're from Chicago because they know you'll work hard, and you put your head down. You're not going to get into some stupid business. Yeah, you're not going to get upset about some like weird something. You know, you're just going to be happy and willing to work. That's like such a stereotype about Chicagoans in LA, and the people in Chicago are like, why don't
that's so true. That's so true. Anyone you meet in LA and you tell them you cut your teeth in Chicago,
Yes.
and they're like, "Oh, that makes sense. You guys are all so funny, so hardworking, so talented." It's crazy. No one ever says that. By the way, LA. If someone from New York moves to LA, no one ever says like, "Oh, you New Yorkers, you guys are really funny and hardworking." No one ever says that.
No.
It's so weird. It's so odd, and I think it's because New York comics come to LA with a chip on their shoulders.
And also
You know what I mean?
a presupposition.
You gotta try one more time.
A presupposition of
Perfect.
superiority. You know what I mean? Like New Yorkers
yeah.
coming out there like begrudgingly because this is where the
We
industry
don't want to
is.
be here. Ill.
Yes,
LA.
if I could have made it and become famous in New York, I would have. If I could have
Yes.
taken a train to this thing, it would have been better. If I could have stepped over.
It's a failure for them to be at Silver Lake at Intelligentsia,
Exactly. Like,
waiting
if I'm
for a
not
general
stepping-
meeting.
If I'm not stepping over garbage, is this even life? Like,
Yeah.
as opposed
it's like, okay, yeah, people are like, "Oh, where are the subways?" And also, where are the stabbings in the subway?
I can't feel alive if not avoiding a
this isn't a
stabbing.
real city.
Whereas Chicagoans are just so happy to be out in sunshine and like willing
Yeah.
to work hard. I mean, the fact that that is the stereotype of Chicagoans in LA. I remember
Yeah.
when I first heard that. This was like in my 20s, with my first batch of like Columbia College friends who had graduated and went out to. It was like a batch of friends that I knew that went out to LA and they all got jobs on Pimp My Ride.
Ecstasy Exhibit. I used to watch that so much.
I
I would not miss that show. I don't remember. I was like, did I have cable like that? I guess I must have.
I mean,
I would watch every episode, and I didn't even have a car.
Me neither.
Yeah,
was
I just
like,
dreamt of one day having a car and then bringing it to exhibit.
and then having them put an aquarium in it. Like, it's like, what if this Acura had an aquarium?
Aquarium.
Like, and also, it was always the shittiest cars. It was
It's like a Mazda 3.
exactly. I was
Like,
like, what
yeah.
about this Nissan Altima? What if it had like a sound system that cost more than the car?
Than the car itself. Yeah.
It was so they all got jobs on Pimp My Ride.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
And everyone that got hired, what they said was that they got hired because they were from Chicago, because there was such a stereotype, such a reputation of people from Chicago working hard, being incredibly competent, and like being able to do the goddamn job without complaint. And
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that like LA people / New York people, there's a lot of like lazy nepotism people involved, so they don't work as hard? Or is it that like Chicago people, because I imagine Chicago being a little more bereft of influence. You know, it's you don't have a lot of like.
that's like the fanciest way to shade Chicago. Bereft of influence. You know, Chicago.
Strictly entertainment speaking. Like I'm sure Chicago is high, like architecture. There's great influence in Chicago, but like, and the theater. But when it comes to entertainment influence, Chicago's not really the place where
Bereft. It's bereft.
It's struggling under the yoke of anonymity, and I think that's maybe why Chicagoans tend to work harder, because there's no like shortcut for us. There's no
course.
we don't have any parents or uncles
No.
or producers or whatever the fuck. Like we're just middle America, like salt of the earth, like blue collar-ish. So we're like we're it's truly where the American dream is still alive.
Yes,
It's like
exact. I mean, speaking of bereft, it is not only bereft of influence; it's bereft of any show business connections, and it's bereft. And it's bereft of ego, right? Like because, I mean, because like think about this: because there is no expectation, there is no influence there. It makes you more. It makes you not only see the only pathway to success is work. There
is to be good.
It needs to be good. There is no alternative. There is no
Right.
shortcut. There are people in Chicago that certainly have influence, if you believe it or not. And there are people that there's a great deal of wealth here, right? This is the third largest city. Like there's a ton of fucking really rich people. So there is that. But inside of the industry, like you say, like there is no pathway in outside of paying for it. And you see through that very quickly here.
Yeah.
Much more than in New York, where there's a lot of this like glitz and glamour. There's an echelon of society that will pander and cater to that level of wealth, where it's not as much a thing here. So you have to show your work. Like you cannot solve this problem unless you show the work. And
this is not a multiple choice test.
There is no
multiple choice. You can't just bubble
choice.
and see and
And
pray
even if
to
you
God
get the
that it's
answer,
gonna
even
work.
if you get the answer, you will have points docked for not showing your work. Like
Exactly.
you can, like that's 100%. This is this is geometry. You must show your proof, right?
This might as well be a personal essay, bitch, because you're gonna have to do your work and show me what the fuck you talking about.
I mean, it's like so interesting. Like I thought that it was very fascinating that was like the stereotype of Chicagoans.
But in that way, you're
know
saying that like Chicagoans, because we have that that stereotype or whatever expectation, that it actually works for us when we come out to the coast.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing.
It's a huge thing, though. I'll tell you. Like, maybe it's just because I'm biased and I only like kind of congregate around Chicagoans, but we are like active out here.
Yes.
As far as like hanging out, birthday parties, doing shows together, putting up all Chicago shows. You never see like an all New York show, or like you'll never see like an all Austin show. Like Chicagoans, like we're like mob deep. You know what I mean? Like we hang like a mob. Like we are like for each other. Even if we don't like each other, I'd rather support outwardly a Chicagoan over any other person. Like re-roll deep for each other.
It's true. And it's even if you if you didn't fuck with each other in Chicago, once you move to LA, people start to fuck with each other. Your fam. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting because
the fact that you self-selected to be out here, you're already part of the crew.
Yes. Yeah. And there is this like language of work and putting in that stage time. And like, I just see, I have a lot of people inside of comedy on my feed. I just see people from Chicago just starting things. Like if it's not available, they will just do it.
Self-starters, DIYers.
Yes, they'll make it because that's how you get things done in Chicago.
And that translates out here too, by the way.
Yes.
Because all the Chicagoans, they're like, the fuck is happening out here? This is a desert hellscape. Why is there no stages to perform on? We'll build our own. Do our own shows.
Yes,
that is something I love about the Chicago work ethic.
Yes,
that you come out here and you're like, oh, there's no space for me. I'll build it.
And that's
like totally my zhuzh, and I love that about Chicagoans.
Because that's the only way. When you have no entry, you build the door. Like when you have no way in and you don't see a bridge, there is no swing. You have nothing nepotistically taking you over to the other side, to the promised land. You build it yourself. Because that is the thing, to me, in my mind, the thing that makes the most sense. To like of course, like you just do. Aren't we all doing? Like, are we?
Some of us are waiting. Some of us just wait. We wait for permission. We wait for someone else to like build the first thing on the bridge. You know what I mean? Put the rope together.
Those are the bitches that will wait for a bus forever. It's supposed to just start walking.
And it's only going local, hun. You're going to get there late.
I mean, truly, like, I think that, like, for at least with this week, like, I had a few, like, you had a setback. I had a few setbacks, like, emotionally.
Tell us about that. What happened?
Just, like, in terms of my finances this year, there's some hits, and so and I will say
that were surprising to you, or like oh, okay, so was it like a tax thing?
It was a tax thing.
It is like tax season.
It is tax season.
I hate that. Oh my God, I fucking hate that so much. When you like get blindsided by like a huge tax bill, you're like, what the fuck? Where did this? Oh yeah, April. I got paid this thing.
It was a tax thing. It was a financial thing with just like, our lives. Like money that was expected to come in is not coming in. And also, various like projects for me personally, like things not moving forward with my career, doing so, and then also having that the only show.
Wait, what's not moving forward?
Some the eat shit good stuff, like trying to reach out to people, getting meetings and stuff like that, and shows. The only show I had this week was at a Filipino restaurant, and so.
And that was when I was crying about my show.
And I was I was crying
passed
about,
on.
And I was crying about my show that I was going to do.
Okay. Okay, so you went to a Filipino restaurant. It looked pretty full.
It was very full. It was very. Okay. It was a wonderful event.
Were people eating while you were?
It was like between courses. It was between courses. This was a 12-course meal.
What? How long of a set did you do?
They wanted 30. I gave them 20. I'm not.
You're like, trust me, you don't want this extra 10. This is gonna ruin your lapsang or whatever you're eating. Like,
you keep noshing on your lumpia, and let me tell you, you're not gonna. That's gonna taste better than what I got for you. So, it was just like some of it is like I just didn't feel like I was at my fighting weight with regard to doing a half-hour set. Like, there's just it's.
You got to ramp up to that. You can't just get up and do a half hour.
And I keep trying. It's like I'm not giving myself the reps, and like there's a certain level of like
you need a runway.
Yes.
Like you need to like drive that plane down and then get to a certain amount of speed and then lift off.
And I keep trying to lift 400 pounds, and I've never
immediate. You're like you think you're in a helicopter.
Yes,
you're like this is a hovercraft. I could just go straight up to the sky.
But it's truly psychotic of me that I keep trying. And
this is very you though. Like like this is not the way it works, but you're like, I'm gonna do it anyway, and just make sure that I fail, so that I could go, okay, that was wrong.
I want to prove that this can't work, and so I mean the set really did go well. Like everyone was very happy. Like the owners were very excited. Like it was not a bomb. It was arguably a crush. Okay. But I did not feel great about the set because I felt like I left jokes on the table, right? Like I felt like there were some moments and beats that I left on the table that if I was at my fighting weight, I would have been able to take and make into a 3-4 minute chunk about the crowd. You know what I mean? Like when you're really doing it, like you can fucking do it.
When
like,
you're in it.
When you're in it.
Like, yeah, you're like Superman, and ain't nobody could touch you.
Exactly. There's no bullet coming towards you that's not moving it inside of water, right? Like you can see it.
Yeah, you're Neo. You're seeing the Matrix, the ones and zeros. Yes. Everything's slowed down. Yes.
And it was for me, things were moving quickly, and I did not feel great about that feeling, right? Because I knew I was leaving jokes on the floor.
I get that.
I hate leaving jokes on the table. Like there are so many moments because there are 2 babies in the audience, like full babies.
Okay.
This is like a family event.
So you didn't want to do those jokes because it was inappropriate for the baby to listen?
No, I could have fucking ragged on those babies.
Oh. So you're saying that there were jokes that you had that you skipped, or there were moments that you could have
capitalized
on by doing crowd work?
Yes.
I see. So it's not that your set wasn't complete. Like as far as the written out portions, you were like, oh, there were these moments that I didn't capitalize on.
Yes. And there were a few that I left on the table that I had written out because my mental acuity, the agility wasn't there for me to weave in and out of bits because they weren't on top of mind. Right? Because I was like, if you know the worst.
Because you were going too fast. You weren't slow enough on stage.
And it's because you're not, if you're remembering your set, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it should just come. Yeah, there should not be a moment where you're standing there and your eyes look up to your skull and go,
What's next?
What's the next thing? Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're remembering your set, you're in fucking trouble. So, like, I felt like I was doing that a little bit. I was present. I was really trying to do that work, but outside of it. But, like, so these setbacks and your personal setback, like, with the show, and, like, I was thinking about it before we got on the pod, and, like, how grateful I am to have always had setbacks. Like things
Like you're used to the pain, so
Yes.
you're numbed.
And I think I am always on my heels and always kind of feeling like I have to prove myself. When you talk about this work ethic, the Chicago thing, like that, I think is also at the core of Chicago-ness. It's this deep sense of inferiority, a deep sense of like needing to prove yourself. And I see in other people getting overwhelmed by setbacks. They really do feel it personally. They really do feel it like as an indictment of their own talent.
Value.
Yeah, and value
they
and
are.
talent. Yes, they really do
And-
feel it that way.
And it's not?
Of course it is.
It's not a sign of personal failure and a lack of self-worth?
No, of course it is. Of course. You did bad.
Yeah. You are bad.
You are bad.
And you will never be good.
And that's why you have to work harder.
Harder.
Like, that's what I mean. Like that mentality.
Yeah, I
that-
guess I just didn't have enough setbacks in my life. So I'm just
No, it's-
really reeling with this one.
No, it's just that like you do reel with it, but the fact that it never crosses your mind to give up. It never crosses your mind to not try again. It never crosses your mind to like, okay, this is like I'm gonna sit down for a little bit in the dirt and then take a moment and then stand up, brush the dirt fucking off, and then get back to it. Like even when I take a break, even when I take the L pretty hard, like I've had some bombs where I've had to take a minute, where I've had to reassess my life.
Oh yeah. That actually, after that Fortune Feepster, the first show bomb, I was like, all right, should I learn a trade?
Yes. When I was considering becoming
HVAC?
an HVAC.
Medical, what is that? Like medical assisting or whatever? Like something like
Maybe I should get
plumbing.
a CNA certification. Should I go into
Should I be an
EMT?
LPN?
Yeah. Like for
I'm
sure.
like, I really need a backup plan.
Yes. For sure these have always occurred to me. But like the fact that
Your refractory period is very low.
yes, I'm ready to go to fuck again. I'm ready.
Exactly.
I'm ready.
You're amped up. Your juices are at full, and you're ready to spray.
It's because I expect the fail. There's a gift, and this is what I'm saying. It's like a gift and
of course
a
you
curse.
expect to fail because you're trying to do a half-hour set at once. You're like, okay, here I go. This is gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad. Let's strap in.
Yeah.
Let's go. I mean, it's just I think that like outside of that and like the other stuff, I just think like there is it's a gift and a curse that like I set myself up for it and I do expect it, but also I'm always willing to punish myself again and move forward. And there is I think the gift is like in like both of our lives, the fact that we like. If we did not try again, if we really let these things affect us so deeply, we would never have done anything. You know, like it is.
And you and I are also uniquely equipped with the drive of masochism. We love to self-hurt. We love like existential pain that is brought on by our own foolishness. We love to blame ourselves just like our moms did.
Yes.
Like that's why we're so good at it, because we've been like conditioned, and now we just spring back up and be like, all right, let's go right back again. And I think
no excuses.
just to wrap all this up, like we don't have many other choices. Like there's not a backup of like, oh, take a break, chill out, go down to Bermuda for a little bit and like dry out or whatever the fuck rich people do. You know, like we don't have that. Or like go back to grad school and get a thing in public policy or whatever the fuck rich people like. We just don't have that. No. So there's no other option but forward.
Yes.
And that's actually that's the good and bad thing. That's the good and bad curse of our lives and the way we were set up is that like there is no other option.
I would have loved another option.
Trust me. If there was another option, I would not be here with you podcasting. Okay?
What masters?
I'd be somewhere like, what?
What masters would you have gotten?
What masters would I have gotten? That's a good question. Probably like something stupid and boring, like a MBA.
Oh, really? You would have gone for an MBA?
I would have gone for it. That's what I originally wanted in high school. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to UPenn Wharton, get an MBA, and just be like rich for no reason. I didn't even know what an MBA, like MBA, yeah, it's a business, master's in business, but like, what does that even mean? What do you do with that? Like, okay,
you
sure.
Like poor people, yeah.
Yeah, you trickle down to the poor. That's how that works. Sorry to. I have to talk about this before we leave. This is the last thing because we are running a little over. But have you been hearing about these fucking UFOs that are being shot down? What is happening,
dude?
And they're not even going to collect the debris now.
No.
Why?
Because we don't want the answers. We don't want the answers.
I want the truth. I can handle the truth.
Can you handle the truth?
I need the truth. I need to know what the fuck is flying these things, why they're being shot down, and not because like the first thing, the Chinese balloon.
Yes.
We immediately called it a Chinese balloon. There was not one Chinese character. It wasn't red. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a skinnier version of a Mickey Mouse that we're like, oh, that's Chinese. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a Mickey Mouse. Yeah.
There's nothing Chinese about this balloon. We're like, oh, it's China immediately. And then the next three unidentified things, we have no idea, except it was the size of a small car. That's all we know. That's all we know. And you sent 2 fighter pilots up there, shot it out of the sky, and you have no idea. Bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And I need answers now. What the fuck is happening? And they keep saying, oh, it's not UFO, it's not aliens, it's not extraterrestrials. What is it? What the fuck is it? If it's not China, Russia, an international threat, then what the fuck is it?
It's 100% China. What are you talking about?
It's 100% China?
It's 100%
Why won't they tell us then?
Because then we'd have to go to war.
Okay. That's what we do best. What are we talking about?
With China?
I know. I don't think we could go to war with China. But.
Yeah, I mean I think that's the main reason why we're like, we don't need to know anymore. And so
because we're scared.
We're scared. Because the thing is, if it became public knowledge and we acknowledge it outside of the intelligence community, which I'm sure is a buzz right now.
Yes.
Because the thing is,
because that guy was supposed to go to China to like meet with the guy,
and now they're not.
Now they're not because they keep sending over fucking drones or whatever the fuck.
And it's supposedly that these have been going up since the Trump administration. So like Trump definitely knew it was happening and did nothing because he was like, oh yeah, whatever you need to know, China. And Biden was apparently ignoring them as well. What's most concerning is why Biden is making it public. Like what happened?
Making what public?
The fact that
the shooting down of the thing. Because the shooting down of a thing, I feel like is almost impossible to not. I guess maybe not because
it's totally inside of the realm of deniability. And then only that.
Okay, that's true because like it's in like the Canada border. It's like the Yukon territory. Who the fuck is there?
If you're not reporting it, if there's because there's been press briefings about it, like not at the level of a presidential address, but there have been briefings about it, which is already a tacit acknowledgement. Right. And then after that, it's like the fact that they're even shooting them down because whereas before they had just simply let them gather information. So
why are they shooting it down? Unless the public opinion. That's what I mean. It's like that's why I thought they were shooting it down because someone in Saskatchewan was like, oh, what the fuck? You know, like they saw it or something. Or
you think
like
Canadians care?
I don't know. It's in their airspace. It's in their airspace. Like they have to care, I guess, because like it's spying. I don't even know what's spying. Aren't there satellites? Don't we have satellites in space that spy?
That's what I mean. So China has
so who cares about a fucking balloon?
That's the other thing. China totally has a capability to gather all the information they want to from their satellites, and also
5G, Huawei. We went through this like 5 years ago.
And they also have satellites on the dark side of the literal fucking moon. So
Great. So like, who cares about these things? Like, because they're closer, they could gather more information.
different kinds of information.
It's like less staticky.
Yeah, and not only that, different kinds of information, and also that is a level of like, it's a level of like kind of bravura and aggression. That's like, yeah, we're gonna just do this.
It's Cold War stuff.
Yeah, it's like we're just gonna do this because you're not. What the fuck are you gonna do? So,
you know what? And we don't know what kind of balloons we've been flying over there. Because that's that part. We're not even talking about that part.
Oh, I'm sure.
What
I hope we have balloons. I hope we have balloons.
Oh, bitch, we better have balloons. There better be the house from up with a binocular attached. Okay, so
we gotta know. I mean, at the very least, we gotta know what's happening. I mean, I hope
because their population is shrinking. Okay, as is everyone's, but their population shrinking, and no one's signing up for our army anymore. So we're fucked.
And not
that we do like that kind of war anymore. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like they have the largest army known
standing
in the
army,
history of man.
Yeah, like, I mean, they have the most people. That makes sense.
I mean, it's like
they have absolute authoritarian control over their citizens' lives.
I mean, I don't know. This is like you guys. This is entertainment purposes only, and all of my information is coming from Reddit subthreads that are sus. So, yes. But I will say that there's like a part of it that feels very connected to what may or may not be happening in Taiwan in the next year. So
I think that's going to be a big uproar.
Yes, because there's a lot of unrest in China because of COVID restrictions, and it's a level.
Oh yeah,
of unrest.
I've been watching those TikToks. Fucking crazy.
So there's a lot of unrest in China that they're not generally accustomed to. It has nothing to do with like actually what's happening in Taiwan, anything about the actual level of like democracy or communism that either or nation state employs. It's because,
what do you think China wants from Taiwan? What's in Taiwan? Money,
they don't want anything.
What?
They just want to. They want
power?
diversion. They want power, and they want a diversion from what's actually happening in China.
It's basically what Russia is doing with Ukraine.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's what they're looking to do. These are two nation states with varying levels of unrest, and their economy in China is doing pretty well outside of this COVID stuff. But like the people are really upset. That's a level of unrest they haven't ever encountered before since Tiananmen Square, and that level of like political sort of activism, they got to quash that, and the easiest way to do it is a war.
Go to war. Yeah. Woof. Okay. Well, we're praying for Taiwan. I want to go to Taiwan before they go to war because I love Taiwanese food.
I love
Taiwanese guys
food.
Are so hot. Yeah. Taiwanese guys. When I grew up in Flushing, Queens, the hottest Asian guys were Taiwanese.
Yes.
Oh my God. They were so hot. They were so.
What is it? The milky skin.
Milky skin. They got great teeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the most fucking Flushing thing you've ever said. That's like from a population of people that don't generally get braces. Like fuck. Great teeth.
At least the Taiwanese boys I knew had really great teeth, and I just want to make out them. Anyway, thank you guys. This was their episode. We'll talk to you next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead of you. And hopefully we won't be shooting down more Chinese alien spy balloons. It's to be seen.
To be seen.
All right. Bye.
Bye.